sorry for the delay. We're adjusting. We have 4 devices in front of us. We are live streaming today across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So please feel free to ask us anything and say hello. We're very happy you guys are here, and we'll be more than happy to answer all your questions.
And first of all, thank you for 1,000 followers on Instagram. We are here also to celebrate that. And many more on TikTok and also on our YouTube channel. So we've been very lucky in having you guys watching our videos that we just post, showing our expertise and trying to make your life easier if you plan to invest in the Portuguese property market or if you plan to move to Portugal. So feel free to ask your questions and we'll try to help you guys answering them as best as we can.
I think we're on now, right? For all the channel.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
So maybe we start with some questions.
Yes. Hello there. Wave back. Thank you guys for joining. Wave back.
Hello. Seems like we're just starting now in some of the platforms.
Yes. As you guys know, we are relatively new with social media. So also this is the second time we go live streaming. And the first time we were very, very surprised. There were a lot of people asking us questions and saying hello. And so we're very grateful. And that's why we wanted to do it again, and also to thank everyone that we reached the 1,000 follower on Instagram. And also we've been growing our YouTube lately. So we just wanted to try again with the social media.
For the ones who doesn't follow us yet on YouTube, we post new videos every week. So feel free to follow us there also.
Yes. Our channel is MOL Portugal across the different platforms. So please feel free to follow. We have a question. What do you think the future of the Golden Visa is looking like after Antonio Costa announced it my end? Okay, I just give you a little bit background before maybe you want to answer the question. So during the Web Summit in Lisbon, during one of the interviews that Antonio Costa, our Prime Minister, did with a journalist, and the journalist was asking him about Golden Visa. And then he mentioned that the Golden Visa probably already served its course, and there might be a chance to doesn't exist anymore. So of course this stirred up a lot of people are start to panic and asking us. We have a lot of questions from our potential clients or existing clients asking about this. So what do you think of this?
Well, first of all, I'm not an authority to talk, officially for the Prime Minister, so I don't know. In fact, I think that no one knows about it. I would say that while at the Web Summit, Antonio Costa, the Prime Minister, was, trying to promote informally the new digital nomad visa. Since he had around him thousands of entrepreneurs and startup companies, and obviously he wants to captivate them and kind of seduce them to come to Portugal and invest in Portugal and eventually even living in Portugal. For that reason, I think he kind of ended up talking too much. That's my feeling. Sorry, Antonio Costa. But that was my feeling at that time. I don't know if they really have plans for ending the Golden Visa eventually. And if they do that, it eventually can be something that has a bigger extent, not only for the Portuguese market, but also for most of the European Union countries also as well. and this might be more effective also, or be more on top of the table of the decision makers, especially after the war between Ukraine and Russia. That put some pressure also on the movement of capitals, the movement of people inside the European Union. So I believe that if they do that, will be because of pressures of the European Union itself, and not so much about the Portuguese parliament anymore, since now António Costa, the prime minister, he has the majority in the parliament, so he doesn't need to negotiate with the left wing, which traditionally was putting pressure on prime ministers for closing the golden visa. This is not true anymore, so I really think that it's like something that came out of his mouth, but was not that planned. But we never know. Actually, the reality is that we don't know. We don't have any special connections, and even the ones who have, I suppose they don't talk much about it. So I expect that this is not true, although you have plenty of other options to move into Portugal or even invest in Portugal without the need of doing any golden visa. So if that is in your plans, you might consider to just do it straight immediately, the golden visa, just in case, or eventually consider to study other options for for your future move into Portugal.
Here. Olá, Marco. Feliz Natal também para você. Boas festas. Yes, I would like to add a little bit also. Knowing Portuguese government and how things change, the policies and regulations never change overnight. It's always start with an idea and then discussion, right, back and forth. So if there's a possibility that in my end it will take some time.
Definitely.
Yes. We have another question. Do you think property prices will decrease in the near future, or do you think it will continue to rise?
Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Well, I always, when someone asks me that question, I always say that I don't have a crystal ball, and I'm definitely not a futurologist, so I prefer not to talk about future, so I keep my feet in the present. And what I see in a daily basis is that there's no lack of new people looking into this market, trying to buy properties in Portugal. And I see good properties disappearing very quickly, especially when they are priced right. So sometimes as you know, I suppose you guys, at least the ones who follows us, knows that we are buyers agents. So we specialize in finding properties in the Portuguese property markets that make sense in terms of investment, in terms of location, and also in terms of price. Entry price. And what I see is that we struggle a lot to find good deals to our clients, and people might not have this idea and think when they open the Idealist and they see thousands of properties advertised online, they eventually think that it's easy and it's not a big deal to find a good deal or a good property. And in fact, that is not the reality. The good properties in a good location at the right price, they are not abundant in the market. So we need to really work hard to find good investments for our clients. And just to finalize my opinion about this, I see that so far the market is not going down. I don't have any crystal ball. I don't do any promises for the future. But what I see is precisely this that I've been describing, and whatever property that is seemingly good disappears very quick from the market. And you need to act fast if you want to secure a good property for yourself.
Yes, just to add a little bit, what we do not only to snap a good deal for the clients, but during the process, it's also very, very difficult to now keep a balance between negotiation, right, and also to keep the deal. And that is a real challenge as well, because if you think the property is good, you're not the only one. This is what we're facing. That's why probably this is the main reason we don't see the market, the prices are going down. It's because of this, because every time we see something very nice for our clients, we usually compete with other offers. Okay, we have another question here.
I believe that for a lot of you guys, it's the first time that you see me wearing glasses.
It's the Instagram. Okay. Okay, are there still properties that apply for Golden Visa near the beach? Yes, there are still areas eligible for Golden Visa in the coastal area of Portugal. If you can go to our website, molportugal.com, under blog, you will find our interactive map. And then there you can clearly see which area is still eligible for the Golden Visa. Another question, what is the minimum investment requirement for D7 visa and what is D7 visa? Okay, D7 visa originated as a retirement visa. There is no minimum investment. They were looking for a stable income pattern versus initial a big chunk of money into Portugal, injected into Portugal economy. But right now, later on it become a digital nomad visa. But right now we have another visa, it's a real digital nomad visa, it's called D8 visa. This is very new. So it differentiates from the retirement visa to the digital nomad visa, which both require a stable income. Only Golden Visa requires the big initial investment, but Golden Visa is also more flexible in terms of the minimum stay per year. D7 visa, however, you become a tax resident in Portugal because you need to stay here half year plus 1 day.
So the big difference is that for the D7 visa, you actually don't need to buy any property in Portugal, you just need to secure a place for you to live. Either you decide to rent it out or to purchase a property. So it's up to you and it's under your discretion which route you would follow. For the Golden Visa, then you need to buy a property, and that is the proof of your investment that will be put it together with other options or documents for your lawyers to submit your application.
Yeah. I think like D7 visa originally for retired people, right? But then it become this really popular digital nomads visa, like a gate to Portugal and also to Europe. It was relatively easy, but this has been changing a little bit. We see the trend that the Portuguese government is trying to differentiate the type of visa. Exactly. Thank you for your question. That's what I'm getting at. Do you think the D7 will get strict now and there is a digital nomad visa? Yes, we definitely see this pattern because a lot of some people actually get rejected for applying for D7 visa. Usually to apply for D7 visa, you need a year lease contract, or you already have accommodation. Either you buy it or you have a place to stay to prove. And then you have a minimum salary requirements. You need to have a Portuguese bank account and the Portuguese fiscal number, which is a NIF number. Also, you have to have a letter of intent to describe why you want to be in Portugal. Why do you think you should be living in Portugal? So now we see a lot of people are getting rejected, which is not very common before.
The D7 visa used to be a big basket where a lot of people would fit. Not only retirees, not only digital nomads, and many others. And now what is going on is that the government is starting to differentiate this basket and to be more different. So I would say that if you are really a passive income person that is applying for a visa, then the D7 might be the one that you should go on focused for you to get. If not, if you are still working either for a company or for yourself as an independent worker, then you can apply for the new digital nomad visa. It's called, if I'm not wrong, it's the D8. It's very recent. It was published and is in force, just a few days ago. And so it's just a matter for differentiating the people, the numerous people that is thinking about moving into Portugal, and this is a more specific one. You can move using the new digital nomad visa if you are actually working. If you are not, if you are receiving a passive income without the need of work, then you can go on using the D7. It's easy.
But again, this is very, very new to us, to the lawyers, to people who apply for it. It's very new, so we're still sort of to see what kind of requirements that really differentiate the two types of visa, right? Okay, is D8 or D7 could result Portugal citizenship in 5 years?
Yes. You wanna answer?
Yes, because I know there is a different route in the D8 branch, which is the short-term digital nomads visa. That I'm not sure it can be extended, it can be renewed. But for the rest, if you are coming for D7 or D8 in the long term, for example, you're applying for a temporary residence and then you renew, yes, it will be the same as any other type of visa. If you are here for 5 years, you can apply for the permanent residence, or you can also apply for the Portugal citizenship.
If you go for the citizenship, then you get a Portuguese passport, of course, and this will open the world for you in a way that more than 180 countries in the world would allow you to enter in them without the need of an extra visa.
Okay.
But don't forget that you need to do the Portuguese A2 level exam. So you need to have a very basic level for conversation and to make yourself understandable for the others. No, it's not this one.
Make yourself understood, yes. I would say for my personal experience, I did the A2 exam. Thank you for driving me there. I was so nervous, but then
I'm waiting for you.
waiting for me outside. But then I have to say, even there, I felt the local people are so friendly. I literally had the teacher for the oral Portuguese exam telling me and my conversation partner saying, you guys are doing great, you will pass, no problem. And at the beginning she was also like, don't get nervous, it's fine, it's very easy. So it's not difficult at all. I think it just like initially you will get nervous because it's very tense at the beginning, especially listening for me, and we had some speaker issue. But conversation, grammar-wise, it's quite okay. I would say 7-8 years old. As like
it's just like a kid. It's like a 7-year-old kid written and conversation level.
Yeah.
So guys, you guys are not actually seeing, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras right here in front of us. I think one of it is not working, and the battery just went down.
Oh no!
So we cannot show you guys later all of this setup.
Another question: how many seasons are there in Portugal? Is it cold like Canada?
But we have the 4 seasons here, including the hotel. We have the 4 seasons here with spring, summer, fall, and winter. We are now in in winter already, and I can tell you that the temperature right now in Celsius it's like at around 12 13 degrees today, which is a cold day actually, by the way. Usually you would expect like at around 15 degrees Celsius
We're in Lisbon.
during the day. We
Yeah.
are in Lisbon, yes.
Yeah.
If you go to the north of Portugal, it will be a little bit colder. To the south of Portugal, a little bit warmer than this. But, it's quite comfortable still. It's not comparable at all with any of the cities in Canada at this point.
But we will do an episode. If you think it's interesting, let us know. We were thinking to do a YouTube video to talk about winter in Portugal, because as someone coming from a very cold weather climate, sometimes in Portugal in winter I feel a little bit colder than I would like to be indoor. Because a lot of houses are not built for the cold weather. So we are very lucky. We have heating, we have a fireplace, which is more than enough. We don't even turn it on very often. Fireplace, we like to do it for the ambience. But heating, we don't really use it that often. It's definitely very pleasant winter in general. You don't have to wear a huge down coat like you carrying on the street, super thick.
Which is a pity because most of those coats, they look very nice.
Yes, I know, but we don't need it. The key is only layers. This weekend we have a big temperature drop, right? Like it's also rainy. So this weekend we had the fireplace on. Also it's almost Christmas. It's nice.
It's good for the ambience.
Yes, but not comparable to Canada.
Can we read this?
Yes.
I cannot read. Is
it hard to find renters for investment rental property? What sort of income can one expect to make? So
that might be the easiest thing in the world. So in Portugal, there's a big lack of inventory in the market, especially for rentals, also for buying. But definitely the demand is way bigger than the offer. So if you are a landlord, you're living a very lucky moments in Portugal. So there's for sure much more people queuing for rentals and given a property, no matter the location, but especially in the big cities here in Portugal. So it's very easy to get you a tenant.
Yes. Someone says hi here. Thank you, Eric. Hope to see you, or hope you get to see Portugal this summer as well. And what sort of income can one expect to make? This is highly depends on your property and location. Just to give you general sort of the market. For example, if we talk about short-term rental, you might have lower yield in Lisbon than somewhere like, as we call, or everyone calls, in the middle of nowhere property. If the property is very special, or has a very good view, or has much less competition around.
It has elevator or not,
Exactly.
Garage or not, so that can change substantially the amount of return that you would get. Nevertheless, I would like to stress out that in Portugal, holding a property is something that is not expensive. So you would expect to pay very low taxes while holding a property, and also HOA fees are very low. So at the end, the percentages that you can consider as a return of your investment might be lower than what you would see in some other countries like US or Canada, for instance. But if you deduct the taxes that you will pay way less here, and if you deduct all the expenses related with holding a property in Portugal, at the end you might consider that it's definitely a good investment to do so in Portugal.
Okay, we have a question here. Hi, Martin.
From Mauritius. Wow,
Nice.
I love Mauritius. Congratulations. I suppose it's way warmer there than here.
Can you read?
Intend to on applying for the
The
D7 visa soon. Just wondering what happens after the 10 years of no tax for foreigners. How much we'll pay after that period?
I believe you're referring to NHR.
NHR.
Yeah, the non-habitual
Tax regime.
tax regime, exactly. After 10 years, it would just be
Back to normal.
yes, exactly. Combined with your personal yearly income and expenses, and your accountant will be able to tell you the tax rate.
So the thing is that once you apply for the D7 visa and you get approved, then you will become a tax resident in Portugal because you would need to spend at least half a year plus 1 day in Portugal.
Yes.
To avoid you to be taxed at the highest rates, the government give you also the options for you to apply at the same time for the NHR regime, which exempts you for most of the taxation that you will be needed to be taxed. So they will give you a maximum of 10 years to be taxed at a maximum of 10%. For all your global income, all the income that you would have from any other country in the world, you'd pay it here, but limited at 10%, which is for European standards is great. But if you live in Qatar, in Dubai, then we know that you won't pay any taxes.
Yeah.
So it's a different mindset also.
I don't know about Mauritius.
I don't know about Mauritius.
Yes.
I actually love Mauritius.
I hope that answers your question. We have another fun one. Where are your favorite beachside towns and why? Wow, this is an amazing question. First, we want to say, maybe share with you guys what are our favorite beaches. For me personally, I really love Mecca, which is the water is cold. It's more on the Atlantic side, but it's not very overly developed. It's still very rough. It's nice. I also like the beach. Can I say the secret? We really love one place. It's called Castella Vella, right? It's really beautiful. It's in Algarve. It's like a little. You need to go through like a little lagoon to go through the sea. And when there's a high tide, sorry, English is not our first language. When there's a high tide, you need to ride a little boat to the sea. And when there's low tide, you can walk. There's a sandy, basically a stretch of sandy beaches all the way extend to the sea.
I would just add also Costa da Caparica because for us it's like the closest beach that we have here in Lisbon, and it's if you don't get traffic crossing the bridge, then it's literally a 15 minutes drive from the city center here in Lisbon till Costa da Caparica. And definitely worth to go because it's beautiful, the landscape, the sandy beach. Although the water is cold, but you get used to it eventually.
Yes.
Definitely not like in Mauritius.
Oh, Martin, thank you so much. We really wish you all the luck for you to move to Portugal. It is a beautiful, beautiful country, and we are 100%, 200% sure you will love it.
But also, it's still related with the areas, the beach areas in Portugal. So if you go south to the Algarve, that's you have beautiful beaches there. The most scenic ones will be on the west coast of Algarve. And the warmer ones with less waves also would be on the east side of Algarve.
More calm.
More calm.
Yes.
And warmer.
It's definitely more suitable for swimming. And we also have beaches very perfect for surfing, right? Like in the area of Algesur.
All the west coast of Portugal is great for surf, including Costa da Caparica that I just mentioned before. Or any other close to Lisbon like Carcavelos, Guincho,
Yes.
and so many more that you'll find all the way along the coastal, especially the west coast of Portugal.
Yes.
Some other questions?
I have have a question that we get all the time. Maybe we can just share here. A lot of people, when they come to us, they say, we want an ocean view property. Do you want to expand
I also
this?
want.
Yes, we just have to do a reality check here. Ocean view property, it's very difficult if you don't have a big budget, right? Nowadays in Portugal.
Yes, or at least €500,000 up. But you would stay in a windy place and more humid, more cloudy area also, and you get to see the ocean from some of the windows of your property. But the scenic ones right in front of the sea, we're talking about several millions for having a property like that.
Yes, so it's not it's not that easy to find a property with ocean view. Even river view, we've been struggling, right? Because
even river
yes.
views, we try to find a lot of those deals for our clients.
Like in Douro Valley, in Jerez.
Yeah, but even that is being more and more difficult to get, at least at the right price, or at least at the price that we feel comfortable to say our clients to, okay guys, this is good, what do you think, can we move on and try to negotiate this property for you guys. Even that is becoming more and more difficult. The properties in Portugal are not are already expensive in most of the locations, at least, especially Lisbon for sure.
Yes.
And several other locations. You don't find much of affordable and cheap properties anymore.
Yeah. We have a question. Hi, Ian. Is it easy to buy a home for a Portugal citizen who had lived outside of Portugal all his life? I'm not sure.
I don't understand the question.
No.
Can you read it again?
Is it easy to buy a home for a Portugal citizen who had lived outside of Portugal all his life?
Yeah, definitely. You're still Portuguese, but even if you were not a Portuguese, any person can buy a property in Portugal no matter what.
It's equal, yeah, it's pretty equul.
The Constitution will give you all the rights for owning a property, and it protects your property and the ownership of it, regardless if you're a Portuguese or not. If you're a Portuguese, you will never lose that right of buying a property in your home country.
Yes. So now we see some more questions. While I read this through, do you want to talk about your favorite property this year? Now we're in December.
My favorite property of this year, I have many. I have many. For instance, we are just closing now one property. I don't know if I can talk about it already, but it's for a lovely couple from Malaysia. And we are closing for them a lovely property in the north of Portugal with a river view, close to a national natural park reserve. And that property, it's like a doll's house. So it's absolutely beautiful and attractive it will be going for the short-term rental market afterwards. And I believe that it will attract a lot of people and to spend some days there. So this property, it's 150 square meters divided into 3 different units. And it has a plot outside. We eventually will do some renovation there and add a pool. We will manage the renovation of that property after. But so far I cannot talk much yet since
we don't want to jinx it.
We just did the promissory contract. We are about to do the deed, but it's not yet closed. Another one that I love is one that we closed in the coastal area south of Lisbon, close to Comporta. In this case, we're talking about a villa, close to the sea, in the environment of Comporta, which is, absolutely beautiful. If you guys never been, please go and visit Comporta. It's nature all around. Green Emerald Beach, also cold, but it's really worth to go and spend a few days there, eating some nice grilled fish. Go for a walk if you don't want to enter in the water because it's cold. Although beautiful, it's cold. At least go for a walk in the beach, in the white sandy beach. And that one, due to the location and also to the potential of attractiveness, I would say it's also one of my favorites. We'll be showing it soon in our channels.
I would say every property we close for our clients, we have a solid reason, and we stand behind every property. My favorite, one of my favorite would be in Évora, in the city center. We're also in the process of closing because of location. It's not big, it's cozy, but the location is amazing. It's in the ancient historic wall. Because the property is meant for investment. So it's when you're choosing for your own property, we always suggest if it's for investment, you just aim the rentability, your initial investment, the budget for renovation, and later on the potential resale value. That's why we suggest that property for that client.
So we have another question. I'm a British national and I'm planning to move to Portugal. What is the best way now after the Brexit? After the Brexit. After the Brexit, you would need to get a visa, just like any other non-European citizen, and you can choose the one that suits you better. You can either go for the golden visa, but that would require you to purchase a property in Portugal worth no less of 280,000 euros, and it has to be in specific eligible areas older than 30 years old for having this threshold of the 280,000 euros. If you don't want to do an investment in a property, then you can choose the D7 visa if you fit in the criteria for it. And for that, you would need to have a passive income, which now it's still low of around 8,000 euros per year for the main applicant, and then you would add 50% of this amount for your spouse and 30% for your children if you have them. If this is also not suitable for you, since you eventually don't have a passive income, then if you're still working but you can move to Portugal and live in Portugal and prove that you're working for some company, or if you work for yourself, then you have the new D8 visa, the digital nomad visa. You just need to prove that you're working, you have a contract, or you have a partnership with companies, or you prove that you have you are working for some companies or for yourself. And in that case, you would need to have an income of 2,800 euros per month minimum, and prove that you've been receiving this amount at least for the past 3 months.
Okay, someone asked, where is your company? We work remotely. We have a home office in Lisbon, which is also our home, but we're only here most of the time for the weekend. We spend most of the time actually in our car. That's our office. Also, our team is
small.
Yes, it's a small car, and our team also work remotely all over the world and Portugal. So everyone in our company is virtual.
Yeah, I just would like also, since we're talking about that,
Yeah.
to thank you to each one of our colleagues that work with us at MOL Portugal. One day we'll do a video with all of them eventually for Christmas or
Yes.
New Year's Eve if we get the chance to get them all here in Portugal. And our team, most of it is international. US citizens, Canadian, British, and that's it, right? And well, Portuguese also, we also
Oh no,
have.
Greek. Also.
And Greek,
Yeah.
yeah, from Greece.
Yes.
Sorry, stereos.
So, where do you get the best chocolate cake in Lisbon? Oh, this is a question to my heart. My favorite chocolate cake is that brand Landau. It's
Landau.
Landau. I think they're French, no? Or, they have in our Court English, the department store.
On the 7th floor.
No, downstairs, the super core level, cinema level.
So they also have it on the 7th floor.
They also have in the Alex factory. Go try it. You will love it. It's very moist. It's dark chocolate. It's not too sweet. It's perfect.
Don't eat too much.
We have a question. How are the schools there? I have a 12-year-old in 7th grade, or what American called middle school. We have international school, we have private school, we have public school. Based on
Many choices.
Yeah, and also based on the feedback from our friends and clients. Actually, a lot of expats who live here now start to send their kids to the Portuguese public school because it's actually very, very good, and they have a lot of support. They have a special program to support the foreign kids to sort of adapt into the culture and also with the Portuguese language.
Portuguese public schools are actually great. You don't need to pay for a private school or to decide to have your children in an international school. But you can always decide to go and have your kids in those schools, which are great options also. You have plenty of options.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be difficult for you to get your kids in a public Portuguese school.
Yes.
In a private one, I don't think it would be that difficult. Also, in most of the locations, international schools, they are a bit crowded these days.
Yes, I was gonna say as well. You need to book ahead and plan everything ahead for international school because we have a lot of demand for international school. Oh, you're welcome. It's our pleasure we really love to share what we know. Thank you. He said, thank you for the answer. I really like the way you have explained the process. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
That's actually the whole reason we started all the social media channel. We just wanted to share. Also because from our discovery calls with a lot of potential clients, we noticed a lot of information are not very transparent. That's why we want to set up different platforms to share what we know, because we're here on the ground and we talk to like lawyers and realtors all day long.
Serge Nike? I cannot read the name, but just move it from Singapore and loving it here. Welcome to Portugal. I suppose you would spend amazing days here in Portugal, and please stay as much as you can, because the more you get to know this country, the more you would love it. I suppose it's like that. At least it was like it was this way for me. I was born here in Portugal. And I love to travel, like many of you for sure. And the more I discover other countries and other cities, the more I love Lisbon and Portugal. So hopefully it will happen with you too. So you're very welcome.
Here's a question. Hi, when fulfilling residency requirement, can we travel to other EU countries? This is a bit delicate question. In theory, no. You need to fulfill the residency requirement in Portugal.
Yeah, the thing is that while you are about to get your visa, you need to give the passport to the consulates for them to stamp the visa.
Sorry, fulfilling for example, for D7, they need to stay here half year plus 1 day. So during this time, in theory, you cannot travel.
Mm-hmm. You need to spend 6 months consecutively or 8 months not non-consecutively in Portugal.
Yes.
So pay attention to that.
I have 2 more messages. Oops. Okay.
Can I buy a T0 or T1 with in the budget of 150k within Lisbon? No, unfortunately, you cannot anymore. It would be possible 10 years ago,
Yes.
even less.
You're welcome.
Now, unfortunately, I don't have good news for you. It's not possible anymore.
No.
In Lisbon, Lisbon city.
Yes.
In the greater Lisbon, eventually in some municipalities will be possible.
But it's not really. We probably wouldn't recommend the area or the location, right? It's like when it comes to real estate, when it's below market price, there's always a reason behind it. So we don't really recommend it. Which city area would you recommend for a family with teenagers to own a reasonably priced 3-bedroom home? It really depends. Are you talking about Lisbon or you're talking about outside of Lisbon? We have a few cities that we think are actually a great alternative for Lisbon.
Yes. The most important thing is to understand what are your needs, in fact, right? If you would need to stay in Lisbon or if you can eventually stay in some
Outside
other
of
city
Lisbon, yeah.
that can offer you a very good quality for that.
Yeah.
Living.
Outside of Lisbon, okay. I would say Setúbal.
Yeah, Setúbal, Braga, even Porto, a great city also.
Yeah.
Those 3, definitely. Coimbra also.
Yeah, I think the general rule is if you want to stay out of, like, for example, Lisbon or Porto, then you just go for the second biggest. In there, you would feel much more relaxed, but also you are within a very reasonable distance to have the access to the bigger city, to have cultural activities, especially when you have a teenager. You know, museums, cultural events, things like that. But the price-wise for real estate, it's much more reasonable. What would you say is a healthy budget to purchase a T2 in Lisbon? So for everyone who doesn't know, T2 means 2-bedroom apartment. Depends.
We're working with a client and precisely at this point that it's trying to do the same, to buy a 2-bedroom apartment in Lisbon.
Mm-hmm.
He started with a 400,000 euros budget and recently just increased for 500,000 euros. So the healthy budget at this point would be something at around 500,000 euros for a 2-bedroom apartment in Lisbon. I'm not saying that it's not possible to get it with less.
You can.
You can, if you're open for doing some renovation or if you're open to compromise a bit in terms of location.
Yes, location and
also the building, if it has elevator or not. Which floor it is, if it is a 4th floor without elevator, maybe not, but it will be definitely under 400,000 euros.
Is it because some
ground floor? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Because some of the apartments, especially in the older part of the town, you see a lot of room also doesn't have windows or has a teeny tiny window. So these are all factors that you need to consider. Also, if the building is in a terrible shape or not, it also affects for the selling price as well. Okay. Ian, okay, so if you want to stay close to Lisbon, we recommend Setúbal. If you want to stay close to Porto, then Braga. Then also, did you say Coimbra? It's also nice. How much is the fixed income need to get for the retirement visa? I think you are referring to D7 visa. This is averagely you need to have 8,000 euros income per year.
For the main applicant.
Yes.
If you're married, 50% of this amount for your spouse.
Yes.
And if you have children, 30% more for each children.
Yes. And residency requirement for investor visa, which is 2 weeks a year, need to stay within Portugal. Okay, this is a golden visa question. Golden visa actually requires you to stay within 5 years, on average every year 7 days. Yes, you need to stay in Portugal, but actually you don't see it as a something you have to do. We see
it's a vacation.
and like all of our clients, when they engage to us, most of them never been to Portugal, and they were like, oh, are we obligated to stay 7 days? It's a long time, we have to spend a week in Portugal. But as soon as they come for the first time, they just like, oh, we already booked 3 weeks holiday with my family for the coming summer, because everyone fell in love here. So you will really enjoy it, don't worry. 7 days is nothing. Someone asked, what area would you recommend to rent in Lisbon as a single woman? I believe you are asking about safety. Most of the area are pretty safe. Lisbon, it's, how do I say this? Of course, there are better areas and there are not so ideal areas, but I would say the entire Portugal, it's safe in general. It's in a very different scale, right? When we talk about crimes here, it's usually maybe someone broke into your car.
Pickpockets
Yes,
in the metro
petty-
station, in the
petty
touristic
theft.
areas. I always say that the most dangerous place in Portugal is the tram 28 because it's so touristic and it's always full of tourists. And you know, the pickpockets, they know that the tourists, they travel with the cameras, with the iPhones, with some cash. And I always say that the most dangerous place in Lisbon is the tram 28. So from this idea, you can understand that most of the cities most of the places that you would be going would be pretty safe. You don't need to worry about your belongings or your safety.
But of course, you know, common sense. You don't walk around your neighborhood in the middle of the night alone. It's just common sense. But in general, it's pretty safe here. Prem, is for 2023 Golden Visa is closed. Is this authentic news? No, well, we just we talked about it at the beginning. It's more or less something our Prime Minister said. So far, there's no
there's no decision at all about that. So far everything is just like as before. Nothing changed. And we don't know if it eventually will become a reality and they will close the Golden Visa. So far we know absolutely nothing, and so far everything is just like as before.
Okay. We have a few minutes where we will quickly go through the questions. For the Golden Visa, do I need to speak the language to get the passport? That's what we're talking about earlier. You need to reach A2 level, which is A2. It's a European framework, like a different level of European languages.
Language proficiency.
Yeah, for example, Italian, Spanish, they all use the same standard. So A2 is basically beginner's level. A is beginner's level, B is intermediate, and C is advanced. So A2 is, we were saying what, 7, 8 years
like
old?
Like a 7-year-old kid's proficiency level. So it's really easy to achieve that. And then there are exemptions. If you're older than 65 years old, then you're exempt of doing the language exam.
Yeah.
And if your children are under 12 years old, they are also exempt of the language exam.
Yeah. Okay. And someone asked, best area to start a restaurant or bed and breakfast. Husband is a chef. We love to garden too. Oh, nice. Sounds very nice.
How about in our compound?
Yes.
We'd love to have you guys as neighbors.
Depends what kind of food. What is the target? How big the bed and breakfast you want it to be? Do you want to live on site? We have clients like this, so those are the questions we want to ask. What is the initial investment? And based on that, we'll recommend the areas, because even though some area seems like in the village or something, but if you analyze the people who live in the closer range, you will see whether it has potential or not. And Portugal has a lot of small and medium size, and like us, husband and wife shop, right? And it's a small operation. We really love it. As long as you find your niche, I think it's just that's the answer to that. I hope that answers your question, because it's a bit general, but we also need to know the budget and even what kind of food your husband cooks.
We have another question here. Do you guys also work with the new digital nomad visa? Yes, we work. Our work is to help people moving into Portugal, regardless of the kind of visa that they are applying. Either the golden visa or the D7 visa or the new D8 visa, which is this one of the digital nomads. How do we help? We are buyer's agents, and we also help with rentals. So we work exclusively on helping our clients identifying properties in the Portuguese property market for buying or for renting it out. And then we have our own network and partnerships of people that we trust that would help our clients in the areas that we don't cover directly. For instance, a lawyer. We are not lawyers, so we would refer you a lawyer that we trust for working with a client of ours. And this is how we can help you. First, helping you finding a place for you to live in Portugal, either a rental or a property that you decide to buy, and then refer you to our trusted lawyers that we work and trust for working with our clients.
Well, guys, we are almost wrapping up here. I just want to thank you guys so much to join us today, and also to ask us questions. Okay, we have someone saying, I live in Madeira and I have a house in Lisbon as well. I was looking property in Madeira for buy. We will actually go to Madeira for work in 1.5 weeks, no?
Yes.
Yeah. Madeira has become very expensive, actually. Well,
it's the rule of the market.
Yes.
The highest the demand, the highest and the lowest inventory,
yes.
The highest the prices will go. And this is very true in most of the municipalities of Portugal, mainland, and also now in Madeira, also in Funchal in special. But it's a great place, great island.
Yeah, we love Madeira as well. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Sorry. I email you but didn't get reply. We reply every email. Please check your spam. Sometimes it ends there. Otherwise, please email us again. We reply every email within 2 business days maximum. That's our probably that's the policy we insist the most. So don't worry, we're very responsive. Check the junk mail or email us again. We will be there.
So thank you all.
Last question. Oh, we have a last question. How often do you do these informational videos? This is the second time we did it. That's why, like, at the beginning we were scrambling a little bit to set up all these 4 devices. So I think usually we will we post weekly on YouTube, for example, once a week. We post on Instagram minimum 3 times a week. TikTok and Instagram we also do. So please follow us. We will announce it, and once a while we will definitely, when we have time, we will organize all this and to have a sit down with you guys. But otherwise, please stay tuned with our social media, with our YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And we would really love to hear from you guys and comment or anything you want us to cover in our videos. Please leave a message in any of those channels. We will definitely consider to explore the topic.
It really helps us to receive your comments and your ideas also and your questions, because it will make us brainstorm to come up with new videos to
Yes.
help you out better, and then post them on YouTube or TikTok. Those two platforms are the ones that we use more, especially more recently the YouTube. So I would invite you guys to follow us on YouTube. And we post every week new videos about property market in Portugal and even living in Portugal.
Yeah, because YouTube, the length allows us to go in depth about different topics. For example, tomorrow we will post culture shock when buying property in Portugal. The week after will be common mistakes when buying property in Portugal. So we can explain everything like in a very calmly manner. Yes, so thank you guys, and we wish you a great holiday season ahead.
Not yet Merry Christmas, because it's still far away. But
if we don't see you guys
have an
before,
amazing season for you guys, for all of you.
Yes.
And hope to see you soon.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.